Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Run It Back, the show we try to get things right the second time. In today's episode, we have a submission from one AGL member named Haxolt, who ended up sending this over. Felt confident there would be better routes to maneuver and cards potentially overlooking, so we're interested to see what extra percentage points we might be able to pick up in this draft. As you can tell, this is a best of one draft, a 7-2 here, so we got the trophy. Everything went well, and we'll dive into it now. So take a look at Pack 1, Pick 1. We've got quite a few good ones. This Rootwise Survivor looks great. Shroud Stomper is a huge threat that plays well. We've got a good removal spell. This Manifest Dread has played well above its weight class. It's just a 2-2, but you get the selection. Goes for Delirium, looks well there. Fear of Imposters plays really well in the right deck, a tempo-style deck. Countering a very important spell and letting opponent manifest dread is a little not great, but countering that important spell is definitely worth it when necessary. And then also the Sphere of Burning Alive plays really well at the top end of a Delirium aggro deck, a red-white aggro deck that plays well. This Defaced Gallery is the really important part here, and Painter Studio happens to end up keeping the cards churning as we move through mainly red-white and red-green aggro decks. But the most important thing here is we've got Unholy Annex into Ritual Chamber. This card I think has constructed chops on it. I think at some point we're going to see this in a constructed format, but you get essentially a Phyrexian Arena on the Unholy Annex side. You lose 2 life instead of losing 1, but the key is it hits it on end step. So the problem with Phyrexian Arena is you play it, you don't get anything, you just move on with your turn. This one you get the card right away as soon as you cast it, and then God forbid you ever end up having a demon with something else or with the Ritual Chamber, and now instead of you losing 2 life, you actually gain 2 life and your opponent loses 2 life. This card will win the game on its own. Very, very impressive. Really happy to see it. Pack 1, Pick 2. Oh, very interesting. We see an Inquisitive Glinner, which is a very good card on its own. Doesn't really play well with an Unholy Annex, but, this card can be very powerful. Unlock cost, enchantment cost, those are cheaper, and a 2-mana 2/3 plays perfectly in the format. Very happy to see that. Fear of Lost Teeth. Happy to see that with the black card. Probably take Final Vengeance over the Fear of Lost Teeth, but both these black cards are good. They play well in like a red-black or a white-black or even a green-black shell. We also see a Glassworks here, which is the best red room at common or uncommon, I believe. We just talked about the Anthem in the last pack. This one I think is great. A removal spell on 3 and then eventually a ping at the end of each turn. The last things we need to talk about here is Altenac, the Thrice Called. I like taking this over too many Say Its names earlier. We obviously have the Say Its name here, which potentially can combo off, but realistically, like in an aggressive style or in a controlling style deck, you can end up just getting to 7 mana, and this thing normally wins the game on its own. It's also one of the best things to surprise your opponents with when you manifest dread it. So I think this pick is Altenac, because if we're playing a little bit of a later style game, a card advantage game, I want to be playing this card as it is. Jamming into 3 colors is a little scary to me this early, and green-black certainly seems like it can make that work. If you want to stay monocolored, I can take the Final Vengeance. If you want to move into red-black, I can take a Glassworks, that's fine, but I think the general best practice here for these 2 cards, what pairs best with my first pick, I think is Altenac, the Thrice Called. We see a Pack 1, Pick 3 Brood Spinner, which kind of plays really well. Doesn't play great with this one, but Brood Spinner is pretty incredible. The 2-drop, 2/3, we already talked about. It's a great stat line. The fact that it's a Surveil 2 is huge. Can dump things into the yard, and then eventually can spit out 4, 5, 6 spiders or so later on or I think they're insects with flying. That's at instant speed. That's very good. Black, green has all kinds of ways to get creatures back from the graveyard, so you can do it again. All kinds of good stuff there. We do see another Say Its name, a Bashful Beastie. These are pretty filler cards as it sits right now. Also notably a Veteran Survivor, an Acrobatic Cheerleader. These play really well in this white aggressive deck. So if you wanted to say, I'm on Inquisitive Glimmer, this card is great, let me go. I could see either of these. I like the Brood Spinner pick, but unfortunately I think this means we want to have our pick 2 back. Pack 1, Pick 4. We're just picking good cards, I see. Okay, great. We see another Say Its name, so we could have that combo here. A Cynical Loner kind of plays a little bit, just a 2-mana 3/1 that doesn't get blocked by Glimmer tokens is fine. Like we mentioned, Rootwise Survivor is good. Scorching Dragonfire is good here as well, but I don't think it's that much better than either of these 2 uncommons that we need to abandon what we're doing here. I understand the idea that we want to just take the best cards, but I think right now we're seeing enough here early on that green-black is my speculative pick of where we should be. Had we taken this Glassworks, I don't think that Scorching Dragonfire is that much lower than what we've seen so far to say that we shouldn't be in red-black. Like, that also plays really well. But I'd be interested in watching out for the green cards as they come through. And in pack 1, pick 5, we see an Under the Skin. This is incredible. It's essentially a 3-mana 2/2 Gravedigger, but you get any permanent, and then you also can even pick up the permanent that you pitch from the Manifest Dread because it doesn't actually target the things like the Ghost Chamber, the 1-mana artifact that exiles stuff in the graveyard. That can get around 1 card, but it doesn't fizzle the effect because, again, this doesn't target. This card, super good, playing every single one of these that we can get. Pack 1, pick 6, we see a Moldering Gem. This is a very good pickup. I like this one because we don't know exactly how many colors we're playing. It plays well in rooms. I also like the Sawblade Skin Ripper. Kind of helps out with the Scorching Dragonfire. But we haven't seen too many like actual mono black cards that I've been like thrilled with. The Cynical Loner's kind of it, but like no actual mono black cards. So if you told me that black is kind of being cut at this point, I would have a tendency to agree with that. Don't mind either of these cards. They're both very good. But if you say I'm all in on green and then we're just going to splash some of these black cards and find out what else we want to do there, Moldering Gem, great pickup. Fear of Burning Alive, very reasonable card. I do like this Final Vengeance as well. I think in this case, because we've got Broodspinner for things, and God forbid we ever end up playing Inquisitive Glimmer with these other rooms, I think Final Vengeance here is a very reasonable card. Even if you end up hitting a land off of the Under the Skin, that's a good thing to sacrifice. The exiling a target creature is very relevant. The double red on Fear of Burning Alive is a little meh. Don't love that. The other one I think I'm also looking at here is Cryptid Inspector. This card, when I looked at it originally, was like, oh yeah, this is the common I want in green all the time. And it hasn't played out as well as I had originally hoped. You're just not manifesting Dread as much or flipping your things up. That's just very mana intensive. So all that for a bonus is nice. This is kind of filler to me in green. So these are the 2 cards I think I'm picking over the Fear, but I think it's Final Vengeance. Pack 1, pick 8. We see an Appendage Amalgam is fine. 2 Cyclers, also reasonable to at least think about, but a Wary Watchdog, a 2-mana 3/1, put stuff in the yard. I mean, this is also very much what we want. Unfortunately, it trades off pretty poorly with a lot of the white aggro decks that can end up putting out a bunch of glimmers. God forbid, like something like the Gremlin Tamer in blue-white, the other blue-white 2-drop that can put out a bunch of 1/1s. So there's things that Wary Watchdog doesn't play, but when you're against another green-black shell, when you're against like a blue-green shell, this 3/1 plays just fine, and also getting 2 Surveils, very, very good. Pack 1, pick 9, we see another Fear of Burning Alive, and I don't think we're that red. I mean, Fear of Burning Alive is good. It's 4 to the face and also sometimes killing a creature, which is very good, and this is a very late one. I get that, but like, you know, Winter's Intervention, very reasonable kill spell early on, kills any Manifest Dread after they manifest it. I don't think we're in a Malevolent Chandelier kind of thing, but I think I'd take this Winter's Intervention in 2 cases. One, if we have this Fear of Burning Alive still, I don't think we want 2. That's a lot, and they don't play well with the Manifest Dread. And then if I don't have that, even still, let's imagine we took the Final Vengeance here over this Fear of Burning Alive. I still think I want this Winter's Intervention. I think, you know, essentially a Sorin's Thirst style 2 damage, gain 2 life is very powerful in this format. I want this. A Say Its Name is great. A Fear of Lost Teeth also would have been fine. I think if we had taken those black removal spells instead of the Fear of Burning Alive, I'd probably be a little bit more on Fear of Lost Teeth because it's a good sacrifice fodder. It also ends up picking off usually 1 or 2 creatures. It trades with a Manifest Dread on its own, or if your opponent's on White Weenie, like it picks off 2 things, plays well against the Wary Watchdog and other such things. So I've been really impressed with this Fear of Lost Teeth. Say Its Name, very reasonable, gets back all kinds of stuff. I don't really love any of these cards. I'm not playing this. If it was like 3 damage, I guess I'd be more interested, but unless you're so heavy in sacrifice and you don't have any good sacrifice outlets, this thing just doesn't play as well. Cackling Slasher, usually not enough. Even if you jump through the hoop of having a creature die, a 4-mana 4/4 with Death Touch just isn't it. I think this needs exactly 1 point of toughness. If it was a 3/4 that turned to a 4/5, it'd be significantly better. And an Enigma, and then a Clammy Prowler. Moving on to Pack 2, pick 1. We see the Dazzling Theater and Prep Room. I've passed this card every time. I don't think it's good. This to me feels like a constructed card that we should be playing. Osseous Stick Twister, fantastic. One of the best 2-drops in the set, I think. Ride of the Moth, very powerful. Fear of Surveillance, very good. A Manifest Dread here is fine. I think this is probably the best card in the pack. If you were already in white-black, I think these 2 are very, very good. If you're in white aggro, Fear of Surveillance is very, very good. But with where we're sitting right now, I want this Osseous Stick Twister and kind of wishing we had some of those other black cards rather than the Fear of Burning Alive. Unstoppable Slasher, oh my gosh, this card's incredible. A 3-mana 2/3 that always comes back if it doesn't have any counters on it, but also importantly, whenever it deals combat damage to a player, they lose half their life rounded up. People forget about this. I've connected with these things in League, I've connected with these things in Draft, and people are like, where'd my life total go? I'm at 4 with 2 hits from this thing. It is just nuts where this thing goes. It's very, very powerful. Another Brood Spinner is good. I kind of wish we had an opportunity to take them both. Also don't mind a Haunted Screen because we're kind of in Jund colors here as it sits. So Haunted Screen I don't mind. Brood Spinner's great, but Unstoppable Slasher, we're not passing that. A Wicker Wildfolk, or Wildfire Wicker Folk, I guess. I like the card. I think if this draft had gone according to plan and we're pretty much only in black-green, I think this Manifest Dread is it. But as it sits, like, it's another Delirium Enabler, it's another Delirium Threat, it's 2 mana 3/2 haste, and then if you end up getting some good things here, I like this early on. I really want to be picking up some of these Manifest Dreads because they're a sorcery. Let's imagine you pitch a land, and then eventually, like, you also have an enchantment creature or something in the yard. It just turns on things so quickly for Delirium. Moving on into pack 2, pick 4. An Impossible Inferno and a Murder. I think that this is a huge mistake. I think that this is probably one of the 4th or 5th best cards in the pack. I've got Murder here, which is probably the pick that I want. We still want to play this Unholy Annex. We've got some really big bombs in black. I understand it's double pip, but we also have things like the Moldering Gym, and I'm sure we'll pick up a couple more pieces of fixing. I don't mind this Diversion Specialist if you want to say you're in red. We don't have a lot of sacrifice fodder, so I also can see the aversion from taking it. That's fine. This Manifest Dread is perfectly good. It helps out with 2 drops and also ends up cheating some other things into play that can get flipped up. I don't think I want this Ticket Booth over these other cards, so yeah, I think Impossible Inferno is probably our 4th best card in the pack behind these other red, green, and black cards. Maybe even behind Killer's Mask. I haven't played this card, but giving a lot of these other threats menace can be a big deal. So I'd much rather have a Murder here. Pack 2, pick 5. We see another Final Vengeance. We see a Terramorphic Expanse. We see a Bleeding Woods. I think that we probably want a dual land over Terramorphic Expanse. Now, if you were heavy into red, green, which should allow you to get payoffs from sacrifice, or excuse me, red black, which should help you payoffs from sacrificing things, then yeah, I see the Terramorphic Expanse, but I want both red and green quickly. I think it plays pretty much all of our 2 drops with the exception of the Stick Twister itself. It helps us fix here. It also ends up helping with the double greens. I see the Terramorphic Expanse and I say, okay, it helps you fix any 3 colors, but this plays green early, red late. I want an on-color duel over Terramorphic Expanse. Also note Fear of Being Hunted. Fantastic card. I think there's some better options for us here, but want to call that one out as well. Pack 2, pick 6. We see Glassworks. Tough to turn that one down. I don't think this is a good card. This Greenhouse Rickety Gazebo, you got to be in 4 full colors in order for me to want this card, I think. Resurrected Cultist, I wouldn't mind taking late. I think it's a little early to take here. We also have a Cycler, but Glassworks by far and away the best card here. House Cartographer, that's a great pickup. I'm a little sad we don't have another Winter's Intervention here, but I'm not taking it over a Cartographer. I just kind of wish we had one over these Fears earlier. Another one, Most Valuable Slayer, that plays really well with this Fear of Being Hunted and other such cards. This +1/+1 first strike whenever you attack, not even when this attacks, is very good. Vicious Clown, I don't think is it. 3 mana 2/3 doesn't feel good. 2 mana 2/3 feels good. 3 mana 2/3 doesn't feel very good. I'm probably on the Fear of Lost Teeth here, but it might not make the deck. A Most Valuable Slayer, incredible. Very, very good for us. We see a Bear Trap, which I don't hate. Ideally, we don't want to play that card, but we only have 1 or 2 other artifacts, the Stick Twister and the Wicker Folk. So getting an artifact into the bin, even if we're not casting and using it, can be very powerful. A Cycler, great. A Manifest Dread, fantastic. Oh, we got the red-green duel. All right, well done. Love that. And then a Mountain. Pack 3, pick 1, we see a Wickerfolk Thresher. This is a great payoff. It's a little sad to see this Pyroclasm go, as I think it kind of plays well amongst things like the Scarecrow with a counter on it already, and then our 2/3, our 2/4, and big creatures. So hopefully we can still pick up a Pyroclasm, but I'm not turning down this 4 mana 5/4 that draws you a card when it attacks. Incredible. Pack 3, pick 2. Love the Spine Seeker Centipede. This card is great. Demonic Council, I might be able to get behind. We don't have any actual demons, though, right? We just have the Unholy Annex. Yeah, so probably none of that. But I'm playing the Spine Seeker. That's pretty incredible. Nothing really else in the pack. Pack 3, pick 3. This is a really tough one. Do we have to take the fixing? Maybe, but this Defiled Crypt and Cadaver's Lab, that has been very powerful for me. Like every single time we get something out of the graveyard, we get something back this way. I've been really, really happy with this Defiled Crypt and Cadaver Lab. Plays similar to an Under the Skin, but you can kind of do it in 2 different spots. Really, really happy with it overall. So I would consider this one. Can't really blame you for taking the fixing though. Pack 3, pick 4. Oh man, we're passing up Let's Play a Game. And so in the Delirium Shell, this thing is super good. It lets you attack pretty much all the time, and it just also is a Blightning. It gains you some life. I think I want the first one of these. I kind of think we have enough of the 2 drops. We have Manifest Dread, we have a Wicker Folk, a Watchdog, and a House Cartographer. I think I want to Let's Play a Game here. If you tell me I want an Overgrown Zealot, that's also fine. Again, really sad to see some of these other red cards, which are very good, but I think it's between the green and the black cards here. Another Brood Spinner? Get out of here. This is so good. This is so good. Love to see this. Manifest Dread here. This also makes me feel a little bit better about like saying let's play a game. But Brood Spinner is great. Manifest Dread is good. I think in this case, I want this Disturbing Mirth. We are straight 3 colors. We've got plenty of things that we can sacrifice. Had we picked up like some Fear of Lost Teeth and things, we could have done that. But I think I want this Disturbing Mirth. Yeah. So that way we could end up like just drawing cards and moving on. This Manifest Dread is good, but it is not, I mean, it's replaceable. Cathartic Parting is incredible. Winter's Intervention, also very good. These are the 2 that I'm looking at, and I can get behind either. Flesh Burrower is a great 2-drop. Another Disturbing Mirth. Pyroclasm's fantastic. Most Valuable Slayer's fantastic. Man, we're just really hitting these things late. Friendly Teddy, I can see some consideration for the artifact, but assuming we're playing this Osseous Stick Twister, we also have this Wicker Folk Thresher, and now this Bear Trap. I don't think we need to play it. I don't love the idea of giving our opponents a card, even though we also draw a card. I understand it's 2 types. I'm probably not playing this. We did get the Let's Play a Game back. Incredible. So happy to see that one. A Glimmerlight we're not playing, and moving on. Taking a look at the deck, we are straight 3 colors. As we can see here, one of the Fear of Burning Lives didn't make it in. Both these Manifest Dreads and this Most Valuable Slayer also didn't make it in. And Let's Play a Game didn't make it in. Wow, there's so much power in the sideboard. Let's see where we ended up in the main deck. Lots of 2-drops. These are both great. This is great. This is good. This one obviously is necessary. This one can be a little bit replaceable in my opinion. Under the Skin's fantastic. Fixing is great. Removal Spell. This one I don't love. Card Advantage Engine's fantastic. Regrowth. Removal Spell. Sweeper. Okay, yeah, so I think these are really the 2 cards that I'm like kind of meh on. And the other idea that we've got this Beastie plus 17 lands. I think with 3 colors that's probably necessary. But I don't love the idea of having to play 18 because of our color fixing. So, in my opinion, we probably should have been more down the black-green path rather than this red-green, like, Jund path, because I think there was more value in black-green. Even still, that we're here, I think these 2 cards probably should have been taken out for this one, assuredly. Like, this should be a swap. That's really good. This card, I think I find fine. I'll play this card sometimes, but I don't find it super, super necessary. And then, you know, any of these 3 cards, either another Most Valuable Slayer or a Manifest Dread or a Flesh Burrower, I can get behind any of those. I think that's fine. Taking a look at our non-creature spells, we have 4 sorceries. If we bring this in, that's 5 sorceries. I understand playing this one for an instant, but we also have, 3 enchantments. I've got an artifact here. This is an enchantment, and another artifact over this way with an artifact here. So getting that with lands, I think you're getting Delirium still pretty easily here. I don't think it's going to be any problem. I probably played Let's Play a Game over the Impossible Inferno. And the rest of the deck looks great. Thanks so much for submitting Haxult. I thought this was a great draft. Obviously you played well with a 7-2 finish getting that trophy. Send in another one. Had lots of fun. If you want to have your draft reviewed on Run It Back, feel free to send me an email at runitbackmtg@gmail.com or send me a message in Discord with the 17 lands or untapped GG draft logs. Happy to take a look. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.